Welcome, brave souls, to a realm where shadows whisper secrets too vile for the light. I'm here to unravel tales so chilling that your skin will crawl long after the silence falls. Help me reach my first 1,000 subscribers, hit that button now, and together, let's unearth the horrors awaiting us tonight.
It's our last night together before college, and we've rented this cozy country cottage by the lake. It's just the five of us. Logan, Bree, Tyler, Naomi, and me, Haley. We're all buzzing with excitement and a touch of sadness, knowing our paths will soon diverge. The evening is filled with laughter, clinking glasses, and shared stories that make us feel closer than ever. After a delicious dinner, I slip away for a moment, curiosity pulling me toward the basement. There, tucked away in a hidden drawer, I find something wrapped in old cloth. I bring it back to our group, and as I unwrap it, we all lean in with anticipation. It's a board game, ancient and mysterious, called the Summoner's Circle. The others are intrigued, and I can't help but feel a thrill at the discovery. We decide to give it a try, not knowing that this game would change everything. As we set up the board, the atmosphere shifts subtly, but we're too caught up in the moment to notice. Little do we know, this is just the beginning of a night that will test our bonds and our sanity. We gather around the fireplace, the warm glow casting shadows on our faces as we set up the Summoner's Circle. Ew! It's not like any game we've seen before, no Ouija board, but instead, it uses dice and a spinning disc. The excitement is palpable as we roll the dice, and suddenly, the lights flicker and flash. The board comes to life, glowing eerily, and a voice, though inaudible, sends a shiver down our spines as it seems to ask, "Who dares summon me?" The first challenge appears on the board, clear as day. Reveal the hidden truth, or be marked. We exchange nervous glances, unsure of what to expect. Tyler, always the brave one, steps up. He takes a deep breath and confesses that he cheated on a test back in high school. We're all a bit shocked, but before we can react, a strange burn appears on his wrist, shaped like an eye. It's as if the game is watching us, marking us for our secrets. The atmosphere in the room shifts from excitement to unease. We're no longer just playing a game. We're part of something much bigger, something that's just begun to unravel. And as we look at the board, waiting for the next move, we know there's no turning back now. It's midnight now, and the storm outside rages on. The power's out, and the only light comes from the occasional flash of lightning. The game has taken a darker turn, and we're all on edge. The next challenge falls to Logan, who's told to dig in the woods. We grab flashlights and head out, the rain soaking us to the bone. After what feels like forever, we find a buried box. Inside, there's a childhood photo of me, Haley, but it's scratched and burned. I'm stunned. I've never seen this photo before. How could it be here? Everyone starts to look at me differently, questioning what's real and what's not. Back inside, Naomi takes her turn. The board spells out a chilling command. Say her name. Shakes her head, refusing outright. The tension in the room spikes, and suddenly, it's freezing. The windows frost over, despite the summer heat outside. It's like the game is responding to our fear, feeding off it. We're all starting to realize that this isn't just a game anymore. It's something much more sinister, and we're in too deep to stop now. We move to the kitchen, trying to shake off the chill from the living room, but something's wrong with me. My speech is slurred and my eyes can't seem to focus. I start mumbling things about the other's secrets I shouldn't know. Tyler's eyes narrow, and he accuses me of setting this all up. I can't help but laugh, though it sounds strange even to my own ears. I didn't bring the game, I say. It brought it to me. Before anyone can respond, Bree suddenly coughs up blood, her face pale with shock. We all turn to the board, and new words appear. Someone else will pay for your silence. Panic sets in. We grab whatever we can, knives, hammers, desperate to destroy the game. But it's no use. The board seems to merge with the table, becoming one with the wood. It's like it's alive, and it won't let us go. We're trapped, and the game is in control now. Logan and Naomi, desperate for answers, head to the basement. They find a hidden door, and, behind it, a locked trapdoor. After some effort, they manage to open it, and discover an old diary inside. It's from a former resident who played the Summoner's Circle back in 1974. The entries are chilling, detailing horrifying experiences similar to ours. The final entry sends a shiver down their spines. She always comes back to play her game. Meanwhile, upstairs, I'm losing myself. My voice is low and distorted, my body twisted in unnatural ways. It's like something else is taking over, and I can't fight it. The game's power is overwhelming, and I feel it pulling me deeper into its dark embrace. Logan and Naomi rush back upstairs, diary in hand. But it's too late. The game has me completely, and there's no turning back now. It's just before dawn, and we're at the lakeside. Tyler, with the mark still burning on his wrist, steps forward, determined to end this nightmare. He volunteers to complete the game himself. I follow him, feeling haunted yet strangely calm, as if I'm not fully in control of my actions. As Tyler places the last piece on the board, the sky erupts in violent shakes. The ground trembles beneath our feet. I scream, my voice blending with others that seem to echo from nowhere and everywhere. It's like the game is tearing through the fabric of reality. Then, suddenly, I collapse, the darkness closing in around me. When I come to, the game is nothing but ash scattered on the ground. Tyler is there, barely holding on, his body weak, but alive. The police arrive later, finding him alone on the shore, clutching the charred remains of the board. The others are gone, and I'm left wondering if we'll ever truly be free from the Summoner's Circle. It was a rainy afternoon when I, Aaron, found myself in the small-town cafe, scanning the community board for any job that could help me get by. At 19, freshly aged out of foster care, the world felt overwhelming, and the need for quick money was pressing. That's when I spotted it, a nanny job with a pay that seemed too good to be true. The ad was from the Whitmores, a reclusive couple living in an old Victorian house on the outskirts of town. It emphasized the need for compassion and routine, which piqued my interest. Desperate as I was, the high pay was too tempting to ignore. I called the number listed, and within minutes, I had an interview set up. As I hung up, a mix of excitement and nervousness washed over me. The job promised not just financial relief, but also a roof over my head. Little did I know, accepting this offer would lead me down a path filled with mysteries and secrets, all hidden behind the walls of the Whitmore Estate. Stepping into the Whitmore Estate felt like entering another world. The place was dimly lit, stuffed with antiques, and every corner seemed to whisper old secrets. Mrs. Whitmore greeted me with a soft-spoken, almost too cheerful voice, which made me feel a bit uneasy, but welcomed nonetheless. She led me through the cluttered hallways to a room where I met Hazel. To my surprise, Hazel was a life-sized wooden marionette, dressed up like a toddler. It was bizarre, to say the least. Mrs. Whitmore explained that Hazel needed to be treated with utmost care, spoken to gently, fed meals, and even sung to every night. I couldn't help but wonder why a doll needed such attention, but the pay was too good to question it too much. As Mrs. Whitmore detailed my duties, I noticed Mr. Whitmore lurking in the shadows, watching us silently. His presence added to the eerie atmosphere of the house. Despite the oddness of it all, I agreed to the terms, hoping that this job would be my ticket to stability. Little did I know, my life was about to intertwine with the mysterious Hazel in ways I could never have imagined. As night fell over the Whitmore Estate, I settled into my guest room, hoping for a peaceful sleep. But the house had other plans. Lying in bed, I started hearing soft footsteps echoing in the hallway, accompanied by whispers that seemed to vanish the moment I opened my door to check. It was unsettling, to say the least. Then there was Hazel. Every time I checked on her, she was in a different position than I had left her. It was as if someone or something was moving her around when I wasn't looking. The thought sent shivers down my spine. To top it all off, I began waking up to find my bedroom door ajar, even though I was sure I had locked it every night. The sense of intrusion was palpable, and my mind raced with questions. What was going on in this house? And what was the real story behind Hazel? Despite the creeping fear, I knew I had to stay. The money was too important, and part of me was determined to uncover the mysteries lurking within these walls. Exploring the second floor of the Whitmore Estate, I stumbled upon a locked door that piqued my curiosity. Mrs. Whitmore had warned me never to enter this room, but the mysteries of this house were pulling me in deeper. One day, as I passed by, the door creaked open on its own, as if inviting me inside. Stepping into the room, I was met with a scene frozen in time. An old crib stood in the center, surrounded by drawings of a little girl plastered on the walls. The air felt heavy with a sense of loss and longing. My eyes were drawn to the wallpaper, where the name Hazel was scratched repeatedly, almost obsessively. The connection between this preserved nursery and the wooden marionette downstairs was undeniable. Who was the real Hazel? And why was her memory so meticulously kept alive in this house? The more I uncovered, the more questions swirled in my mind. I knew I had to keep digging, no matter how unsettling the truth might be. The Whitmores had planned a candlelit dinner in the dining room, insisting it was for Hazel's birthday. It felt surreal, sitting across the table from a wooden marionette, but I went along with it, singing the birthday song as they requested. The atmosphere was thick, with an odd mix of celebration and melancholy. As we ate, something eerie happened. Hazel's head, which had been perfectly still, shifted slightly toward me. It was subtle, but unmistakable. A chill ran down my spine. Was it just my imagination, or was there more to this doll than I thought? Mr. Whitmore leaned in close and whispered, his voice barely audible, that I had made Hazel happy, and that she remembered now. Those words scared me. What did he mean by remembered? And why did it feel like the house itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen? The more I learned about Hazel, the deeper I felt drawn into the Whitmore's world. But with each revelation, my unease grew. What was really going on in this house? And what role was I playing in their strange ritual? Curiosity got the better of me when I heard faint music coming from the basement, a place I was strictly told to avoid. Sneaking down the creaky stairs, I found myself in a workshop filled with dozens of broken dolls, their lifeless eyes staring blankly at me. It was eerie, but what caught my attention was an old photograph in the center of the room. The photo was of a real girl named Hazel, dated 1911, with the word deceased scrawled across it. My heart raced as I pieced together the puzzle. Before I could process it fully, Mrs. Whitmore appeared behind me, her presence calm yet unsettling. She explained that Hazel was their first daughter and that they had been waiting for the right girl to bring her back. The weight of her words hit me like a ton of bricks. They believed I was that girl, the key to reviving their lost child. The marionette upstairs wasn't just a doll, it was a vessel for their grief and obsession. As I stood there, surrounded by the remnants of their past attempts, I realized the danger I was in. The Whitmores weren't just eccentric, they were desperate, and I was caught in the middle of their twisted plan. It was midnight when the Whitmores dragged me into the woods behind the estate, the marionette Hazel in tow. They lit lanterns, casting eerie shadows that danced around us. The air was thick with tension as they began chanting in an old, unfamiliar language. My heart pounded in my chest as I realized what was happening. They were performing a ritual to bring their daughter back. Panic surged through me, and I tried to escape, but the forest seemed to close in. Shadowy figures, resembling children, emerged from the darkness, surrounding me. Their presence was suffocating, and no matter which way I turned, there was no way out. Mrs. Whitmore's voice cut through the night, a desperate plea echoing through the trees. "Hazel, come home," she screamed, her eyes wild with a mix of hope and madness. The realization hit me like a wave. I was meant to be the vessel for their lost child, a pawn in their twisted attempt to defy death. The woods felt alive with a sinister energy, and I knew I had to find a way out before it was too late. But with every step, the shadows closed in tighter, and the chanting grew louder, sealing my fate deeper into their haunting ritual. The next morning, I woke up in my room at the Whitmore Estate, but something was terribly wrong. I couldn't speak, no matter how hard I tried. Panic set in as I stumbled to the mirror, hoping to find some clue about what had happened. When I blinked, my reflection didn't. It was as if I was looking at a stranger, a hollow version of myself. The Whitmores entered, carrying breakfast, their faces a mix of satisfaction and relief. They told me that Hazel was resting now, and that I was doing well. Their words, I felt cold fear envelop me. I turned to the nightstand, and there it was, the marionette, but now it had my face carved into it. The realization hit me like a tidal wave. I had become Hazel, trapped forever in this room. The life I knew was gone, replaced by a haunting existence as a doll in the Whitmore's twisted world. As they left me alone, the weight of my new reality settled in. I was no longer Erin, I was Hazel, forever bound to this eerie estate and the couple's unending grief. Summer 1999, and I'm trudging along a rural highway near Red Rock, Arizona, soaked to the bone from the relentless rain. My pockets are empty, my dreams of college shattered, and all I want is to make it back to my hometown. The road ahead stretches endlessly, with no sign of civilization or a single car passing by. Just when I think my luck can't get any worse, I spot the dim glow of red taillights through the downpour. An old weather-beaten SUV slows down and pulls over beside me. The driver, a lanky man in his 50s, with a salt and pepper beard and a baseball cap, rolls down the window. His heavy accent is warm and polite, as he offers me a ride in a dry seat. Grateful but cautious, I climb into the passenger seat, my eyes scanning the interior for any signs of danger. The man seems friendly enough, but there's an air of mystery about him that makes me uneasy. As we pull back onto the highway, I can't shake the feeling that this ride might be more than just a simple act of kindness. Little do I know, the journey ahead will be far stranger and more terrifying than I could ever imagine. Inside the SUV, the rain beats against the windows as we navigate the back roads through the stormy night. I try to make small talk, asking the man about his travels, his job, anything to break the silence. But he's evasive, dodging my questions with vague answers and a polite smile. It's like trying to catch smoke with my bare hands. As the miles roll by, I start to relax a bit, lulled by the steady hum of the engine and the rhythmic swish of the windshield wipers. That's when I hear a soft knock, barely audible over the storm. I glance around, thinking it's just my imagination playing tricks on me. But then, it happens again, louder this time, and my eyes land on a small velvet box tucked between the seats. I stare at the box, my heart pounding in my chest. The man's eyes meet mine in the rearview mirror, and there's a strange intensity in his gaze. "Old things like to stay quiet," he says, his voice low and cryptic. A chill runs down my spine as I realize that this ride is far from ordinary. Whatever is inside that box, it's awake now, and it knows I'm here. We're driving along a remote desert road now, the rain finally letting up but leaving the air thick with humidity. Suddenly, the man veers off onto an unmarked dirt path, claiming it's a shortcut. My stomach knots with suspicion as the SUV bounces over the rough terrain, the headlights barely cutting through the darkness. I pull out my phone hoping to text my friend my GPS coordinates just in case, but the screen flashes "no service," and my message fails to send. Panic starts to creep in. I ask the man to drop me off, but he acts like he doesn't hear me, his eyes fixed on the road ahead. Then, out of nowhere, the velvet box thuds against the seat, as if something inside is fighting to get out. I stare at it, the sound echoing in the quiet of the car. Whatever is in there, it's getting restless, and I'm trapped miles from anywhere with no way to call for help. I know I need to get out of this SUV, and fast. The SUV finally comes to a stop at an abandoned roadside rest stop, the headlights casting eerie shadows across the cracked pavement. The man mutters something about needing to check the box and steps out of the car, leaving me alone in the passenger seat. I watch through the window as he walks to the back of the SUV and carefully opens the velvet box. My breath catches in my throat as I catch a glimpse of something inside, something pale and human-like, but wrong in a way that sends shivers down my spine. It's writhing, as if trying to break free, and I can't tear my eyes away. Then, the man starts speaking to it in a language I've never heard before, his voice low and urgent. To my horror, the thing in the box answers him, its voice a guttural whisper that makes my skin crawl. I know I need to get out of here, now. Quietly, I slip out of the SUV and creep away. My heart was racing. I find an old vending machine and crouch behind it, trying to stay hidden. But the image of that writhing thing and the sound of their strange conversation echo in my mind, fueling my terror. I need to find a way to escape before whatever is in that box comes for me, too. Panic surges through me as I bolt into the woods near the rest stop, my feet pounding against the damp earth. Behind me, I hear the man's voice, yelling that I know too much, that I saw what was in the box. His words echo in my ears as I push myself harder, my lungs burning with each breath. He's chasing me with an uncanny speed, his footsteps closing in faster than should be possible. I weave through the trees, branches scratching at my skin, but I don't dare slow down. I need to find somewhere safe, somewhere to hide. Then, I spotted an old ranger station tucked deep in the woods. Desperation fuels my last burst of energy as I reach the door and start banging on it, praying it's not locked. To my relief, it flies open, and I collapse inside, slamming it shut behind me. I huddle in the darkness, my heart racing as I listen to the man's footsteps outside. He's out there, pacing, muttering to himself, but he doesn't try to break in. Not yet. I know I'm not safe. Not by a long shot, but for now, I'm hidden, and that's all that matters. Inside the ranger station, I frantically search for a way to call for help. My eyes land on an old emergency CB radio tucked away in the corner. With trembling hands, I grab the microphone and start broadcasting, hoping someone out there will hear me and come to my rescue. But before I can finish, the door bursts open. The man stands there, the velvet box clutched in his hands, his eyes wild as he starts chanting softly in that strange language. I feel my pulse quicken the moment I realize time's up. Desperate, I spot a stack of fuel canisters in the corner. Without thinking, I grab one and smash it against the wall, spilling the contents across the floor. I light a match and toss it, watching as the flames spread rapidly, forcing the man to retreat. As I make my way to the door, the fire grows, engulfing the station. Suddenly, the box in the man's hands starts to shake violently, and it opens by itself. A horrible shriek pierces the air, and I catch a glimpse of the thing inside the same pale, human-like creature, its eyes locked on me as its form shifts and twists in the flames. The shriek echoes my name, sending a chill down my spine, but I don't stop. I run as fast as I can, the heat of the fire at my back. Just as I reach the safety of the woods, the ranger station explodes behind me, the sound reverberating through the trees. I keep running, not daring to look back, knowing that whatever was in that box is now free, and it knows who I am. 2 days later, I find myself sitting in a local diner, nursing a cup of coffee as I recount my terrifying ordeal to a detective. He listens intently, his expression calm but unsurprised, as if he's heard this kind of story before. When I finish, he nods and admits that I'm not the first person to report a man with a velvet box. Some believe it's part of an old government project that went rogue, while others think it's something far older, something that shouldn't exist in our world. The detective tells me that despite numerous reports, the man and the box have never been found. It's like they vanish into thin air, leaving behind only stories and unanswered questions. As I leave the diner, I feel so scared. I know I'll never forget the sound of that thing screaming my name, or the sight of its shifting form in the fire. And somewhere out there, the man with the velvet box is still roaming, waiting for his next unsuspecting victim. I just hope I never cross his path again.